Hey guys, before the episode starts, I just kind of make a small errata to our last episode. The Irea Soratami Ascendant that I was talking about last episode, turns out it's actually banned in Commander. I didn't realize that when I actually made the episode, so I do apologize for that. But it is officially banned in Commander, so sorry. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Planeswalkers Pub. I'm your host, Aaron.
Howdy, it's RJ. Today, we're going to be talking about your personal color identity and why we choose to play the commanders that you play. But first, let's talk about our signature card.
Yes, every episode of the Planeswalkers Pub will feature a signature card that may or may not relate to the topic at hand.
Today's signature card is Last Stand. It costs Wooburg, or white, blue, black, red, green. It's a sorcery that says target opponent loses 2 life for each swamp you control. Last Stand deals damage to target creature equal to the number of mountains you control. Create a 1/1 green sapling creature token for each forest you control. You gain 2 life for each plains you control. Draw a card for each island you control, then discard that many cards. Last Stand! Yeah!
So Last Stand is a really cool card, but first I want to, before we actually talk about it, I want to introduce our, signature
player.
The signature player.
Who's this guy?
Eric, otherwise known as the Feather Guy, otherwise known as the Get Rod Guy on most of our streams. How's it going? Welcome to the podcast.
Glad to be here, and I heard you guys talking shit about me. Thought I wouldn't find out. Decided to come here and sort you two out.
I feel it, I dig it. Welcome to the pub. So let's jump into this crazy behind card. The reason why I chose this as our signature card today is because we're talking about color identity, and this kind of embodies what each color wants to do in its own rights.
Yeah.
You know, black typically wants to, have people losing life. White wants you to gain life. Green wants to kind of...
Saplings.
Yeah, green wants to kind of swarm the
field.
field.
Everybody. You gotta swarm
However,
the field.
the bad side of Last Stand is that most Wooburg decks do not actually want to do each individual aspect that the color pie wants to do.
Yeah, because they more or less, they have a lot of dual lands and stuff like that, since to kind of get their colors online.
But the flavor.
I know, the flavors, I feel like if you toss this, like a Niv Mizzet, not Niv, or, the new Niv Mizzet or something like that, since whatever.
Well, actually, you wouldn't, because even though he is Wooburg, you want 2 color spells, not...
Well, that's true, but, you can still toss it in there just for the sake of tossing it in there.
Yeah.
Occasionally it might just do...
You cast that, and then you just do a ton of stuff, because people didn't realize,
Yeah. I like it mainly because, the swamp thing, it basically says target opponent loses 2 life for each swamp. So that's, if you've got 5 swamps, that's 10 life just getting chunked down.
And with
Urborg, yeah, then that's just, that gets kind of broken in general.
Urborg makes anything that counts swamps really, really easy to pull off.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to today's topic at hand. Today's topic is going to be split into 2 parts. Part 1 is going to be talking about your personal color identity. And then part 2 is going to be talking about which commanders we actually play and kind of sort of why. So a quick disclaimer about the actual colors that we're choosing first. We're talking about these in a vacuum of a monocolored style deck. So the commander can change how the deck wants to run and function, but for the most parts, what these colors want to do is basically what we're utilizing and stipulating throughout this.
Yeah, like white. Card draw is not really a big thing in white, but there are some commanders in mono white that are just really good at drawing cards for some reason.
Yeah, because that's just something that just white struggles with, but it wants to kind of do it anyway. So our first color is going to be white, part of Wooburg. Really? I know, right? Decided, start with Wooburg. Why not? White embodies family and community are everything. The power of one strengthens the others, for there is no I, only we. And if one must go, then everything must go.
Sure you're not talking about slivers?
Yeah,
it sounds like you're talking about slivers.
Examples for whites, we're mentioning Mother of Runes, Wrath of God, and Indestructibility. I'm not gonna lie, I put Indestructibility on this list because of the flavor text. Indestructibility, for those of you who don't know, is 3 and a white for an enchantment aura. You enchant a permanent. That can be any permanent, so lands included. Enchanted permanent has indestructible, so it can't be destroyed. It also has a very cool flavor text that says, by all means, keep trying.
It's very good. I'm surprised you didn't mention white weenies, like soldier tokens. White is very well known for churning out armies of tokens to overwhelm their opponents. Life gain, creature removal, creature generation. These are all white in its purest essence.
They care a lot about, like, just keeping their stuff on the board as long as possible, or just swarming the field with just a bunch of tokens. They have a Door to Possession, which is like the doubler that kind of focuses around tokens a lot. The reason why I didn't put them in with the tokens is because I felt that green had a little bit more token creation. Oh, you got
but that's
because you got like a sapphire.
green
I
is more
think your
big boy token.
Selesnya has token generation. Mono green itself really doesn't have a whole lot of it.
Yeah, it's just kind of big stuff.
Yeah.
They go tall, not wide.
The next color we'll be talking about is blue. Blue is about no one having fun. What I mean to say is it's about control and mostly telling people what they can and can't cast. Blue always has a plan, even in the thickest of situations. Whether or not your opponent has a huge board state or no board state, there's always something blue can do. You have your Gitaxian Probes.
Gitaxian Probe.
You have your Cyclonic Rift. You have your Counterspell.
Brainstorm, Jinkataxis, blue.
Consecrated Sphinx.
Consecrated Sphinx,
yeah.
Propaganda.
They are the answer, man,
They have the answers.
to all of your suffering.
To all of your suffering, and typically likes to increase your suffering. Like we mentioned, Jinkataxis, it is a giant, crazy Praetor. 8 blue for 5/4 with Flash, which kind of matters, but not really. At the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 7. So in Magic, as a whole, you have a maximum hand size of 7 typically. By reducing it to 7, that basically means you've got 0 cards in hand at all times.
A side note is cards that give you unlimited hand size, such as Reliquary Tower or Thought Vessel, work kind of strange with Jinkataxis. If they're on the field before he is, then Jinkataxis' effect will kick in and will reduce the hand size and completely disregard the Reliquary Tower or Thought Vessel.
Really?
But if Reliquary Tower and Thought Vessel come after Jinkataxis, the unlimited hand size will kick in and disregard Jinkataxis' hand reduction.
I feel like it's more because it's kind of like the stack at that point where it's like
Yeah,
whoever showed up.
What did Justin call it? It's like
State-based game effects.
state-based game effects. Yes, Justin. He runs the card shop. Yo, dude, you're never gonna listen to this. And I had so many questions to him about this. I'm so confused.
Me too. I've ran Jinkataxis in a couple of my decks, and a lot of people run Reliquary Tower and Thought Vessel, so these issues come up.
I actually didn't know that. That's really interesting. Jinkataxis is one of those kind of boogeymen of Magic where as soon as you see it on the field, you're like, okay, I need to remove that quickly or deal with it some way, shape, or form.
Crying is always an option.
Crying is always
Really,
an option.
all the Praetors are the boogeymen of their respective colors, except Urbask. Urbask is, in lore, the weakest Praetor.
I've never heard of him.
In card form, the weakest Praetor.
Wait, who is Urbask? Because I know there's...
Urbask is the red Praetor. All your creatures have haste, and all your creatures your opponent has come in tapped. So they come in
I would still run
with
that. That's not that
That
hard.
sounds really good,
But
actually.
how much does he cost?
It's probably the same as that.
5. 3 and 2 red.
That's really
Okay.
not that
He's like a
bad.
5/4.
Because it's
Don't quote me on that.
Because it's...
Aaron put the card up on the board
Well, no,
to
all-
show how wrong I am.
All the Praetors are actually on the screen right now because most people know about Elish Norn. That's easy. You're running a token deck or against a token deck. You run Elish Norn, that basically just cancels out all their tokens. Jinkataxis everyone knows about just because...
We're probably not even saying it right.
What, Jinkataxis?
Yeah.
That's Jinkataxis.
It's probably Jingjachasis or
Jinkataxis.
Jingjachastic.
Everyone knows about Jinkataxis just because he's kind of the boogeyman that we mentioned beforehand, where it's an effect that it hurts the entire table. The other 3, because obviously they're in one of each color, the red one we actually didn't know about, so we're missing, what, black and...
Shieldred and Vornclex.
Vorinclex is the green one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking Vorinclex.
He's the one I want to run in. I want to run him in Windgrace.
Don't do it. Just don't do it.
The next color is black. Life is your resource. Death is optional, but not mandatory. Whatever it takes to win. Whatever it takes.
Examples of this are going to be Pain's Reward, Doomsday, and Lich's Mastery. So, I know everyone's going to have some thoughts about Doomsday for a second. We're going to get to that, I promise. So, Pain's Reward is 2 and a black for sorcery. You bid any amount of life in turn order. Each player may top the highest bid. The bidding ends when the highest bid stands, and the highest bidder loses that much life and then draws 4 cards. So black likes to use their life as a resource to draw cards mostly.
I pay 40 life to draw 4 cards. 10 life a card. There we go.
Yeah, it's pretty steep. It's pretty decent. I don't know.
There's Necropotence.
Necropotence.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a card.
Necropotence is probably the best example of this, because you're literally paying life for drawing a card.
Exactly, but the thing about Necropotence, because I definitely need it for either Tesa or just in general. I like drawing cards too much. I would accidentally kill myself with that card.
I've decked myself in Lord Windgrace. I don't mind it.
Yeah, but decking yourself versus just decking yourself. That's drawing cards without actually a penalty.
pay-
This
Necropotence is in my
Gitrog.
Gitrog deck.
Yeah,
to combo out.
Yeah, you've done
You
that.
can use it just to fill yourself back up to 7 each turn.
Yeah,
which
basically.
is the more casual use of it.
Another card on this list is Lich's Mastery, which I put on here mainly because this is kind of what Black wants to do as well.
It's very black.
So 3 black, black, black.
Look at that. There's 3 blacks in it. It's very black.
For a legendary enchantment that has hexproof. That's very important, actually. It says you can't lose the game. Whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. Whenever you lose life, for each 1 life you've lost, exile a permanent you control or a card from your hand or graveyard. And when Lich Mastery leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. That's basically the black philosophy when they say whatever it takes, because you're dropping this kind of as a last resort or like a secondary last resort saying, hey, I'm digging for what I need. I don't care. Like life, once again, death is optional, which is kind of nice. And of course, the black card that everyone knows, except from RJ apparently, is Doomsday.
Off the top of my head, I don't know what this card does.
Black, black, black for sorcery. Search your library and graveyard for 5 cards and exile the rest. Put the chosen cards on top of your library in any order. You lose half your life points rounded up. This is one of those cards similar to Doomsday. You talk to anyone that's not in Magic or anything in that sense, you say, hey, what's Doomsday? They say the end of the world. Yes. This is your end of the world scenario. Yeah. You're getting 5 cards and saying, I'm winning now, or I'm dead. I'm pretty sure you can actually run this and get Gitrog because your combo is basically 5 cards.
It is, but it isn't.
It's not, is it?
The
Because it's
Dredge
Golgari.
combo requires more than 5 cards. And exiling almost my entire deck is a bad idea.
Well, no, because you would just need the that green creature that lets you play out lands.
What he's
or
saying
something.
is he's trying to make it so he can beat your deck easily with an Ashiok.
Well, no, all right. So here's the thing, because I thought about when I put this on the list, I thought about what if I put this in Amanatu, and then basically I could just cast this. I would go grab Feldar Guardian, Alter the Brood, and then the new Teferi that says that your opponents can't activate stuff at sorcery. It can only activate stuff at sorcery speed, and then go grab those 3, and then Counterspell and
Are you
Dalvin's
putting
Veto.
this in?
Amanatu.
So why not just do Labman? Make a Doomsday pile and win with Labman. That's what people do with Doomsday.
I don't like Lab Man. It feels.
Then
Well,
run Jace. You're on
Doomsday
It feels
Planeswalkers.
cheap.
Doomsday is a competitive card.
Run the new Jace.
You use it to get the game-winning combo.
I mean, that is pretty much a game-winning combo. Like, you got Teferi on the field. Your opponent can't counter or do anything until their sorcery speed, which is it's my turn.
How do you win then?
The Feldar Guardian Alter the Brood combo. Amanatu's on the field. You just minus Amanatu, blink the Feldar. It comes back in, blinking Amanatu. That comes back in. She's a new Planeswalker. Minus her again to blink the Feldar. The entire time, Alter is triggering, milling your opponents.
That's a suitable combo.
Yeah. It's simple, it's easy, it's basically what I go for the
Although
gates,
that's at sorcerer speed, which means it can be interrupted.
which is why you put the Teferi on the field that says your opponents can activate stuff only at sorcery speed. So they literally can't interact with it.
Got me there.
There you go. So like I said, Doomsday can technically work in there. I just don't like it because it is a last resort, all or nothing strategy.
Doomsday is a build-around card. You shouldn't put it lightly in any of your decks.
No.
Don't
Unless you're
Swing
planning
right now.
on going as hard as possible. Because like I said, it is a competitive card.
The next color is going to be red. Their main philosophy is...
Goblins.
Yes, goblins.
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 Yes, goblins. And steal what can be stolen and destroy the rest. Blitz magic and lots of big damage. Life is an explosion, so make sure that yours sets the world ablaze. Examples of this are Heartfire, Fireball, and Vandal Blast. So 2 notes I want to mention before I let these guys handle this. Fireball is up on screen right now. It is the
quintessential red card.
It is
There's
the
literally
quintessential
a
red
whole online store named after a combo with this card.
Channel Fireball.
Channel Fireball.
Yep.
Which channel's banned in Commander.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
funny.
Which is great. Fireball is basically the quintessential. This is what Red wants to do: just throw a bunch of mana into one giant spell, make the biggest explosion possible, just killing everyone.
On your way there, make goblins.
Exactly. The reason why I tossed on Heartfire, for those of you who don't know, it is 1 in a red for an instant. It's a common from War of the Spark. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature or planeswalker, and then Heartfire deals 4 damage to any target. So on its surface, it's kind of a, yeah, sure, it's a cool little like shock upgrade. The reason why I chose this is mainly because A, the art, and B, the flavor text itself. The mage looked within and realized there was still one piece of fuel to burn: himself. That is basically what Red wants to do. It's like, hey, I don't care if I'm going down, but I'm going down in the biggest, splashiest, most craziest way possible.
Of course, the downside to Red is that dealing 120 points of damage to 3 other opponents is rather difficult, and
Yes.
much like the fuel to the fire, it can run out and Red can find itself dead in the water.
Yeah, Red, that's the reason why I put on here Blitz Magic, because they want to get out, hit the ground running as fast as humanly possible, just literally throwing fireballs and lightning strikes and, like, shocks and...
If you're on turn 20 in red, you're not winning this game.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
No.
basically, like, that's... I kind of tell it with most Red players, unless you have if you're a mono Red specifically, unless you have like a there is this legendary creature that says tap in, everyone's life totals get halved.
Heartless Setsugo?
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, he's a
No,
legend.
is Heartless Setsugo? Yeah,
Yes, he is. My friend built
There's
a deck
another
around
one
it. So
that's
yeah, he
similar,
is.
I think.
He is basically kind of. I mean, well, there's that. There's Neheb. There's Squee if you want to get flavorful.
Squee!
There's so many Squees. Oh my
I'm
god.
the goblin! I love me some Squee. Sorry.
Yeah.
I bought a Squee. I haven't even put it in the deck yet. I just have it.
Yeah, and then there's also obviously goblins for days. We talked about
Cranko!
Kranko.
My foiled stamped Cranko.
Talk about your full Sam
Let me
Cranko.
just flex on y'all.
And that's kind of how goblins. That's kind of how Red does things on the opposite spectrum, where they're like, if I can't burn you out quickly, I'm just going to do the long game and just create a bunch of crazy guys. Then just Goblin Bombardment or whatever, just throw stuff at you.
Yeah, literally sack goblins, deal 1
Yeah.
damage.
Just throwing stuff randomly.
Although long game and Red aren't really two things that go in a sentence together.
Yeah.
That's it. Unless you're playing, like I said, unless you're playing Cranko or something that can hold its own for a little bit, it's really not. Plus, Red has probably the worst card draw out of everybody. They've got some looting.
They've got
They have
wheels,
card
they've got
selection.
faithless looting.
They have they don't have a card advantage, they have card selection.
Exactly.
So you
where
can dig through the deck, but you don't get to keep all the cards.
exactly.
The last color, and my personal favorite, green. Growth and evolution. Likes to start off small and then quickly grow stronger than anyone or anything.
Examples of this are Craterhoof Behemoth, Boundless Realms, and Nissa. Now, when we say Nissa, we literally mean every Nissa Planeswalker there is, including the flip
Nissa
one.
Worldwaker?
Yes, even Nissa Worldworker.
Sage Animist?
I want to see how much you...
Nissa who shakes the world.
Yeah, who shakes the world. Nissa, I said Worldwaker, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was the
I
first
know.
one.
I know 3 Nissas.
But all the Nissas are actually on screen right now. Sorry, editing me. There's
Oh god, there's gonna be like 7 or 8 of them.
there's gonna be just 7 or 8 of them. They're gonna be on top of each other, so just ignore. Don't read the text. Just
the one Nissa that I run in Lord Windgrace, the one
Isn't
where you
it-
do
it's
plus
the-
1 and then she does.
she just ults immediately.
Yeah.
Isn't that Worldwaker?
No, Worldwaker is.
She's up on the
Worldwaker's the
screen
one
by
that turns
herself.
all the forest into creatures, into indestructible creatures.
Yeah.
The
She's up on the screen right now by herself, but Green wants to start off small and just ramp. Just ramp to hell. You've got Cultivate, you've got Farseek, you've got
elves,
elves.
Llanowar elves.
I'm gonna
Elvish
ask
Mystic.
the Gitrog and Windgrace player to help me out with this whole tutoring for lands thing.
There's
Realms Uncharted,
Harrow,
Kodama's Reach.
Kodama's Reach, Explosive Vegetation, Crop Rotation.
And then as well as Boundless Realms, which the enchantment guy plays. This card, I didn't know about this card until he played it. I was like, wait, what does it do? Wait, what does that do?
Yeah.
So, Boundless Realms is 6 in a green for a sorcery. Search your library for up to X basic lands, where X is a number of lands you control, and put them onto the battlefield tapped. This card is dumb.
Really?
Yeah.
This card is so cool. The price is on screen right now. I'm probably going to get it for Moljotha just because I tend to run a lot of basics in that deck anyway. And I can get up to 7 and then just drop this and then boom, I've now got 14 to then recast. Oh, guys, this guy's dumb. It's dumb. I love it to death. It's dumb. It's awesome.
Lands aren't the only thing green is good at ramping. It's also very good at ramping up the CMC line with things like Birthing Pod or Ulysses the Wandering Bard.
What's the what?
The one that plays
gets-
a little loot and gets you a creature.
Yeah. And each counter he gets 1 CMC higher.
Oh, wait,
First you
he's-
get 1,
yeah, he's a
then
legend.
2, then 3.
Yeah, he's a legend
then 4.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. There's also what is it? Elvish Piper, which basically just cheats out stuff, which is fantastic.
Get piped
There's
by an
Court
elf.
of Calling and Green Sun Zenith,
Yep.
which fetches you any creature you want. Oh,
Yeah.
and the new Finale of Devastation.
Green can protect itself in the early game as well, where they play stuff like Spore Frog, which is just
Frog!
it's a cute little frog that just fogs the damage. Plus, let's include fog or just any. They've reprinted.
Constant mist.
I do want to mention, obviously, because it's on this list, and I beseech not to mention it, Craterhoof Behemoth, which is 5 green, green, green for a 5/5 with haste. When Craterhoof Behemoth enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain trample and +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. Typically, you put this in a token deck, but if you don't put it in a token deck, you're getting smashed.
Yeah.
You just straight up Hulk smash.
And if you happen to not be able to afford the $30 price tag, might I suggest God Eternal Ronus or Raise Forerunners, both of which have been recently reprinted and serve similar functions to Craterhoof.
Yes, there is also the infect portion of that. What's the green?
Triumph of the Hordes. is the
Triumph
name.
of the Hordes.
Oh, that one. That was
gives
like,
all
what,
your-
$20 or something?
No, it's really cheap. I have it. I literally
it's
bought
not
it.
really cheap.
It's like $10 now.
Oh, well,
Is it $10?
It's like
Yeah.
$10.
I don't think I spent 10. I know I traded for it. That's what it was.
Yeah, so you kind of got it for free.
Yeah, right. How about
Yeah.
that? I was like, how did I get that card then? So I think it's 2 green, green, and then it says creatures you control get +1/+1 and have trample and infect until end of turn. It is a sorcery, which kind of sucks, but it's one of those things that you do this on like a decently sized board or just in general.
And you just kill the ball.
You just kill people.
Yeah.
And it's so great because Infect is something that most people don't expect, especially if you're not running an Infect based deck. But you toss this in there and there's like, cool, Triumph of the Horde, swing, GG? Yeah, getting to 10 Infect is a lot.
I've won a few games playing Inkmoth Nexus plus
that's a
Awakening
fun
of
one.
Vitu-Ghazi.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Just like, here's my 5/5 or my 10/10 hasty infector in the air.
That's another thing that Green kind of wants to do as well is just they're more inclined to use their lands as creatures than any
Animus
other
lands are a very
yeah
popular strategy.
than any other like kind of color. I stay away from that strategy because
The risk is high.
the
If
risk
your
is
lands are
super
creatures,
high.
Oh, when I first started playing in
They're
middle
the easiest
school.
permanent to remove.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My play group when I played in middle school, when I first started, they insisted that if a land creature died, it went back to being a land. That it didn't go to the graveyard, and yeah, they were wrong. I've lost many a game to that.
Speaking of animating lands, there's a build of a Eula that you animate your opponent's lands and then fight them with your bears.
Why would you do that? I mean, I know why you would do it, but
That's
why would you
great.
do that?
I love that.
It's just no.
I maul your forest to death. And I eat it.
Here's
That,
a-
that island, I drink it.
That planes are just get scuffed by it. I think.
Yeah, the plane. I was gonna say the planes get turned into bread.
The swamp you just turned.
The swamp I drain.
I drain the
Put
swamp.
up a shopping mall there.
Yeah, put up a Babe paradise. Put a parking lot. Ooh, bop bop bop.
So our next segment is why we actually chose the commanders that we play and what commanders we're playing currently. But first, I do want to go back and mention what colors do each of us represent in the base level. Although my playstyle is technically mono blue-ish, where I like to kind of control the board and figure out my plan, my actual color identity would actually be mono black because I like using my life as a resource. I don't like dying too often, so I try to find tricky ways of getting around it and out of that. And I just like drawing a lot of cards all at once, which is the reason why I mentioned the Necropotence, where pay 1 life, draw a card. That would probably kill me because I would just be like, I'm gonna pay 3 life. Look at these cards. Pay 5 more life. 4 more life. What's my life total? Like, it would actually just kill me.
My color identity is definitely Golgari. I like the green overflowing amounts of mana that green gives you, and I like the card draw and tutoring that black has. The mindset of commanders, everything's resource, including life, which is why black fits me so well, much like it does Aaron's.
Yeah, it's plus you get to kill stuff, and my favorite card in like all of Magic is Murder, specifically the newer version of it, just because the flavor text is it's not fun if you enjoy what you're doing, or it's not work if you enjoy what you're doing. It's just really, really great. Started out playing black, then switched over to green because black it found me unworthy. And then I'm pretty sure you can actually agree with that too. It's like, black's the type of color that if you're not worthy to hold its power, it will burn you to death.
Yeah.
Like, very unforgiving. Super, super unforgiving. RJ, what colors are you?
As of right now, my main colors are Abzan, black, green, white. I'll get to that. When I first started playing Magic the Gathering, I started with a Golgari intro deck. I started as Golgari because it's the first thing I bought. Then I moved on to a mono white deck because I liked Odric and a lot of really cool cards that were around then in Standard, like Elite Inquisitor, Odric Master Tactician, Precinct Captain, just mono white weenie. Then I turned that deck into a Selesnya Tokens deck, which I thought was wicked cool. Just like I made a million crazy different creatures and just crushed my opponents. That whole deck got stolen. After that, Abzan, my 3 colors that are my life. I bought, when Khans of Tarkir came out, when Abzan actually became a thing, I got the intro deck I got 3 of the Abzan intro decks and turned them into one weird Outlast deck.
Okay.
And it was garbage. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm big on black, green, white.
I guess if we're going with the whole like colors identities in the fullest, then mine would probably be Esper, just because the blue for the countering, the black for the killing stuff, and then the white just because I don't like people touching my things.
Amanatu.
Yeah, it's probably.
Sorry, was I too subtle?
Get that throat checked out.
Yeah.
Man. I'm just not sure. Like, just...
That's as good a transition as any to our signature decks.
So the decks, in which case that I actually play, note that we've got a lot of, myself as well as Eric has a lot of decks for most parts because we can't decide what we want to play that day. Have you ever had that too, where you're just like, you're sitting on that table, you're like, cool, what am I playing?
All the time. That's what I usually ask my opponents, is like, choose a deck box.
Like, cause I should probably start doing that, just have the commanders face down or something else and just be like, hey, pick one. That's not Amanatu.
I was bitter the other day when you kept playing
Moldotha?
Amara. No, Amara against Saheeli. Like, Saheeli takes turns to get going, and Amara is turn 3, you have a huge board state, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, like, turn 1 Forest, turn 2 Plains into Amara, turn 3 Plains into, 2 Wardens or a Soul type effect
Just
to gain
crazy
life.
stuff that I can't do anything about.
Swing, get a token, gain some
Destroy
life,
all of these that you love.
Yeah, it just goes completely crazy and just nuclear for the most part. I guess for mine, I'm just picking just 3 randomly. Amanatu, SRAM, and Teysa Karlov. The reason why I chose Teysa, although it's technically still token-based stuff like Imara had a whole episode dedicated to her, so I like token-based stuff, which is the reason why I chose Teysa and Imara. I like just punch people in the face. The theory of Voltron in general is something I just really like to do, just because it's an all or nothing style strategy where it's like you're putting all your stuff on one giant guy, and if it gets killed or sacrificed, you're just like, dang, now I gotta rebuild everything, can do it all over again. But hey, that was really cool, right? It's like just I've never.
Totally.
And when I started,
that's why you always win with Emrakul.
Yeah, right. When I started building SRAM, though, I've actually never one-shot someone before, and I really want to do that. Like, just take them from 40 life down to...
that's kind of weird. Well, you mean with commander damage?
Well, commanders have done
He's
that
talking
with...
about, like, just one hit kill.
Yeah, just one hit kill. Like, from, 40 life for, a decent, over 25 life, just a straight, just one shot. One Punch Man style.
You would need something like the Black Blade or something, really
He hates
huge.
the Black Blade for some reason.
Because here's the thing. So the Black Blade comes out. It's it's a 3-drop or something.
It's a 3-drop.
Yeah, so it's a 3-drop that comes down.
For 3 on a legendary. It's 7 on regular, but
that's the problem. It's on a legendary that's 7. I've only got SRAM as a legend, and I guess Emrakul, but that's
he's the only one. He's your Voltron. He's the one you're gonna put it on.
Which is why Ithy occasionally, my Voltron deck has
You're
a
not even
weird
playing the
thing.
best Voltron cards anyway. Where's your Swords of?
They're expensive.
Yeah.
He has a bunch of swords though. I know.
No,
He
he
doesn't have Swords
I-
of Feast and Famine, no
So
Fire
he-
and Ice.
It's in the case
Nose.
at the shop, and I'm just like,
I got him one of the new swords.
yeah, he got me Sinew and Steel, so I do have that in there, and I bought Body and Mind, and then I just keep buying other stuff.
Buy the entire
Tonight,
cycle.
but that's not
Make
gonna
your SRAM great again.
Make SRAM great again.
We're gonna just the
Paint a
card
little
backing
red
of
hat
that.
on him.
Yeah, right. Just make SRAM great again. The problem with SRAM is the fact that like people just keep removing him, and then after a while, it gets to the point where not really I don't want to cast him, but like I'm paying 6 mana to drag him out again, and then they're just gonna kill him really quickly or something in that sense.
The
Yeah,
swords
but
give him protection.
But here's the
From
thing.
those colors.
But here's the
They're
thing.
like
there's-
little condoms for him.
Yeah, but if someone says, all right, sacrifice all your creatures or whatever, then, like, you know, or like a board wiper, it takes a bit to
That's
get...
where, that's why Sigarda is usually considered the best.
Yeah, because she
Voltron
can't...
commander.
Yeah, she can't be sacrificed. She's got
Flying,
hexproof.
hexproof, and has the can't be sacrificed.
Nothing.
Exactly.
All baked in without having to equip her with anything.
But me, that's cheating.
It's cheating.
It's cheating in my eyes. I don't know. It's
Well, I know there are effects that, other than Sigarda,
Yeah.
that
you know,
can't
I mean,
sacrifice permanents.
it's the same principle, like, you know, like Bruno or whatever, where she comes in and then all your equipments or whatever get... Not equipments, all your auras get kicked right onto her. I don't want that as my commander because it's a really quick 1-2 I win. I kind of like to earn it a little bit, which is very weird, I know. Which
That's
is
why you play Emrakul.
well, that's because Emrakul's is good at
That's
that.
because you earn it. Yeah, you really earn it with Emrakul.
It's what? It's like 13 mana.
It doesn't fit in your deck at all.
It doesn't.
But
He
it's
runs it
hilarious
anyway.
when you equip that with the Eldrazi Conscription.
Yeah, but that kind of flies in the face
you-
of the Voltron
Emrakul,
strategy.
less than
Unless,
Emrakul.
unless Emrakul is your commander.
Yeah, but then I gotta go mono. It's a colorless deck at that point. I'm not
Yes.
sure. I mean, a lot of equipments are colorless.
A lot? You mean all? There's like, what, maybe 20 that aren't colorless?
In any case, yeah.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the decks I want to talk about. Eric, what decks are you currently playing?
Oh boy. I have 6 commander decks.
All with different strategies, which is hilarious.
Yes. Gitrog,
6.
Emrakul, Feather, Ayula, Thantis, and Muldrotha.
Fantas?
He has
The
Thantis
War
deck.
Weaver.
Oh,
Oh right, yeah,
he's
the
fun.
group slug one.
yeah.
Yes. All of them are different strategies, as Aaron said. Emrakul is Eldrazi Tribal. Feather is Boros Spellslinger.
And just the worst.
Ayula is Bear Tribal.
Also the worst.
Thantis is Juned Group Slug. Muldrotha is
Recursion, just graveyard
Recursion, good
shenanigans.
stuff. And Gitrog is Competitive Dredge.
Yeah, it gets crazy. I mean, we've bashed Feather a lot on this podcast just because, and we've bashed it mainly because
He says we. I think there's nothing wrong with Feather.
it's a very, 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 very strong deck.
I think Feather's fine. I think there's nothing wrong with her. I think she needs more going towards her.
Lies and deceits.
Yeah, all those 5-cent cards that no one would ever play now suddenly have found value.
Yeah, it's just the cantrips are just so oh god. It's, the other Feather deck, and it's even like a pub rule, like, you know, just to kill the Feather player first, just because you have to. You just have to. Like, he seems like, you know, like, oh, I'm not doing anything. It's fine. Like, you know, who cares? But no, you was it?
It's not nice to hold grudges over games, Aaron.
Clearly, you haven't seen our pub rule then.
Yeah, no. Pub
Salts
rule,
moves
like,
between
who
games.
knows? Yeah.
It's just how it goes. RJ, what are you currently running?
Nothing. Just kidding. I have.
I don't even play this
I
game.
don't even know what Magic the Gathering is. You freaking nerds. Solgur. Mono white Solgur. Very fun. Lots of tokens. Dying a lot because I'm an idiot. We have Windgrace, or Lord Windgrace, for your information. Wakanda forever. I am horrible.
I mean, he
Lands-
does, right? They should have. They know what they were doing when they like.
yeah.
They were like, hey, we need you to commission, like, you know, this guy or whatever. Oh, cool, it's Lord Winggrace, awesome. Like, you know, well, let's see what we got. Like, you know, so what are you thinking? So imagine Black Panther, but he was actually a panther,
Yeah.
and give him a staff. Like,
Does he have a staff?
he does. Winggrace's judgment. He's like poking someone with a stick. Yes. It's on screen right now. Yeah, he's legit just poking someone with a stick.
I poke at you with my stick.
Yeah,
And he
right.
does not like Urza.
And it's not like Urza. Well, he was also like, because he was with the the Mending of Dominaria. I think it's actually
He's
an
on the
actual-
tree.
Yeah, he's on the tree or
card.
whatever. It's like him, Karn. I think that's Fraley's.
Yeah, Fraley's.
Is it Fraley's?
Yeah.
It's Fraley's on the tree.
Okay, yeah. So
It's that tree.
it's terrible. And then although technically you built Ur-Dragon for Katie, I feel like you have more fun playing it. I've actually never seen her play it, is my point.
She's never played the Ur Dragon. No, she is literally. It's because she kept saying, "I want a dragon deck. I want a dragon deck." I finally built her a dragon deck, and she realizes no one wants to play against a dragon deck.
You wanna know why? Because
I'm
dragons.
guessing it's not pre-con or a dragon. It's actually built.
It's a built Ur Dragon. It's not that great. It has some cool dragons in there, but it's just ridiculous. Ur Dragon's ridiculous.
Dragons in general. Plus, it's...
Build it for her, but with Morpheon as the general. You'll probably have a better time.
That's what I was thinking, but
The
The
way
cost
he...
reduction will really help.
That and the way he actually built it is he built it with like Windgrace in mind, so like all the fetch lands are in there and like just a bunch of
not
ramp.
really. It's just tons of ramp because I need. to
You
get Ur
ramped
Dragon
out the
It's
Ur-Dragon turn
Werborg.
3.
It's
Yeah.
Woborg. You
Like-
need the ramp.
Yeah, no, I did. I got a
Like-
and it was in the weirdest way too. It wasn't even like traditional ramp.
Like-
it was like
Put out a bunch of signets and then just...
I think it was
we did
it
do
was
on turn 3 or turn
yeah
4.
it was definitely turn 3 because it was
turn 5. You gave
it was
up.
planes into because it was 1v1. It was planes into Soul Ring into the Signet.
I had the Soul Ring,
and
yes,
then-
into the
Oh yeah, the turn
And
1
then-
Soul Ring signet.
Yeah.
And then he drew a land, I think it was like a mountain or something of that sense, played that, and then into Smothering Tithe, I didn't pay, and then from there he drew like the
had
third
a
color,
Gilded
fourth
Lotus.
color, yeah, then the Gilded Lotus, and then then that kicked over to. If
I
the point
had-
is, it was terrible.
I played
That's
the
the
Ur
point.
It was
Dragon.
he was in Magical Christmas Land.
Oh no!
That
Like
was-
it was snowing. There was presents everywhere. It
yeah.
was
yeah.
I saw
serious
Santa Claus.
magical.
His
Smelled
deck
like
just
whiskey.
gave him everything he needed.
It was serious Magic Christmas Land, like nothing I'd ever seen before.
I
Because
thought it was a reindeer. I might have just been on something.
like it was disgusting Magic Christmas Land, and it was dumb. And Ur-Dragon like turn 4 swung at me because it's 10 in the air. What the
And
fuck
then
am I
I
doing turn
played,
5? Like
Yeah.
Then I got to play Udvara Hellkite from my hand for free.
yeah, and at that point I'm just like, I'm just done. Like nothing I can do. It's 10 in the air. That's the downside with dragons because they're giant things in the air that are threatening, and people are scared of them, so people just want to kill you.
Yeah.
Um,
So of course, I spent money and built that deck, and she never touches it, and she only plays Saheeli.
well, that's the thing. I want
Saheeli is on tapped out, though. Saheeli should be fixed at this point.
keyword there should be.
I say should be, because I don't know.
Keyword there should.
However, there is a Mycosynth Lattice in Saheeli now.
Do you have Karn?
No, I don't have any Karn. No Karn is in the deck. I'm not turning it into a toxic deck. See how there's a Mindslaver in my binder?
Yes.
It's only there in that binder because Katie didn't want it in Saheeli.
Because she's not a mean person.
I, however,
He, however, played Mindslaver in Muldrotha. Like, yeah, no, it was disgusting. It was actually disgusting. Oh my god, because he's got Mindslaver and Vorinclex in Muldrotha. I'm just like, do you want me to kill you? Like,
I play all three of the Praetors of the colors.
No one can. If you're
in
playing
Muldrotha.
one-on-one, they can't do anything.
Exactly.
not even that, but just.
Well, I don't play one-on-one anyway.
Vorinclex, I personally hate Vorinclex because
You should.
here's the thing,
It's
I'm
a good thing.
Well, he does have a very high salt rating in EDH Rack.
just because
Shout out.
I don't like not being able to play. I mean, it's fine. I don't care so much about strip mine or whatever. Like, kill it, blow up my land, that's whatever. But the fact that I can't use them and they're sitting there mocking me, that just feels bad.
Well, I built Muldrotha for Value Town, and Praetors are some of the best value engines in the entire game. The whole reason I built 6 decks is because they all do something different, and that's what I really like about Commander in specific, unlike other games. It's an eternal format, so you have access to thousands and thousands of cards to build decks with.
Yeah, and unlike Standard or Modern, where with Modern, like, the new Horizons came out, so that's legal in Modern and Legacy and Vintage, but not in Standard. It's legal for us too. Anything that comes out in Standard is also legal for us. New Core Set 2020 is
even
legal.
broken stuff that comes out that should
Yeah,
be
even
standard.
broken stuff that
Urza.
instantly.
Yeah,
that-
for a while we get to keep them.
Yeah.
Yes. And if they get banned in other formats, we still get to keep them.
Yeah,
Unless the
Well, unless the
Commander.
rules committee
Rules
decides
committee.
that, otherwise. One thing I do like that Wizards, they acknowledge us because you've noticed that there's actually a lot of more legendary creatures
Yeah.
coming out in Standard and stuff now. I feel like it's a kind of a shout out and a wink towards us, like, hey guys, like, we see that you're there. We know you're going to be like, stealing these cards anyway. So here, here's something to targets. This way,
The
it has
legend from that. I might
The Panharmonicon for double ETBs.
Oh god, I don't want to talk
Isn't that
about
what
that.
Panharmonicon does?
Yes.
Yes.
But it's I don't want to talk
It's
about
on a
that.
creature.
There's one on a creature? Oh yeah, the Muldrotha colors.
No. Yes.
He's Muldrotha colors.
Yeah.
Or it is Muldrotha colors. The desecrated, it's oh god, I know the name off the top of my head. Sultai.
Yeah, it's
Sultai.
terrible. One thing I do want to mention from M20 that actually just come out. I'm not sure if you guys saw the spoiler or not. It is Gargus Vix.
Oh, the Hydra commander.
Wait a minute.
It's Gargus. So it's 3 green for a legendary creature Hydra. It's an 8/7. It has Vigilance. Hydra spells you cast cost 4 less to cast. And whenever a creature
You're kidding me.
Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell or ability, Gargus fights up to 1 target creature you don't control.
Is it you may?
No, it just says if it just does. It's not a you may. It's like it happens.
Up to. Oh, it's up
Oh,
to.
up to.
It's
Which
up to.
technically,
So
Okay, so you can choose not to
Yeah.
if it's
I choose
not
for it to fight
advantageous to
nothing.
you.
but the point is, Hydra spells you cast cost 4 less, which means most Hydras have like their X in the claws or whatever. So automatically you can pay like let's say green.
X is 0, so
I feel like it works the way I think it does.
no, it doesn't.
Are we sure?
X is 0. It won't reduce the cost. However, I did look this up recently because of this. There are a good amount of Hydras that have solid numbers in their casting costs, so he will reduce a good amount of them.
I'm on the
feel like
Mythic spoiler thing, and it has the Thesaurus next to it. There is Nessian Wild Ravager, 4 and 2 green. It is an old from Board of the Gods. Tribute 6, it's a 6/6, and when it enters the battlefield, if its tribute wasn't paid, you have it fight target creature, or fight another target creature. It could be one of your own.
I feel like
Managor
this
Hydra.
should work the way I
Hydra
think it
Omnivore.
does. I don't know though. We'll put it up on screen. Yes or
double-
no.
I think it gives negative mana.
Well, no. Here's the thing. I feel like it'll be like
Because doesn't it work where it pays, you can pay 4 to X because it costs 4?
Yeah,
less?
that's my point. That's my theory behind it. That technically it automatically makes it into 4 automatically. He's shaking his head no. It's up on screen. Yes or no. I'm 98% sure that he is right though, but I feel like that's right. Because why would they make it other way? Because there's nothing. Most Hydras have X. They don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, great. Also,
Which
most
makes me think that in the upcoming spoilers, there's going to be more Hydras.
Or
we're going back to
At least one other Hydra. I mean, at least Eula had at least one other bear with her.
well, yeah, but she was also like there with that. She was supposed to be like she was meant for commander players that just happen to be in modern. I mean, one downside of this is if to make
for
it
be
work.
useful. Yes, because it's a legend. It can't be with itself.
That's true. Also, too, I don't know, it does also say whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a spell, you can just put this in like a general green stomping deck.
You can ignore
standard.
the Hydra reduction, but
Yeah, because it's an 8/7 on its face with vigilance, so you can swing with it. Still have it for as a blocker, and someone else targets one of your stuff or whatever. Any
you can
creature.
target your own stuff too with buff spells like Giant Growth.
Yeah, because whenever a creature becomes a target of a spell or ability, so yeah, at that point you can just target it to giant growth. Well,
This is why we brought the Feather player.
the downside to that is 6 mana, and it's in 3 green pips, which means that it's going to go into green stompy. You can't really splash it in anything else.
You say that.
I think dual colors could do it. Simic, that Simic Hydra, the jellyfish one.
Oh yeah,
Hydroid Crisis.
Hydroid Crisis.
but that has X in its color. That has X in its casting cost though.
It does.
It's still a
That's
big
why-
old Hydra boy.
That's why I feel like the way this is worded, it should. I don't know. I feel like
I
it
don't know
should.
either.
I feel like it should. Like it should automatically just make it 4. Like you can just do Simic colors and then Coolman's can play us down.
I
Automatically
could
just comes
text
out
my
as 4.
friend Luke and get him to talk to Justin because he has Justin's
I
number.
think
feel like it does the way
Simic
we
and
want.
Golgar would probably be the 2 colors
For
that
this.
would use that.
So now we're jumping over to what we like to call last call. Last call.
Last call.
Last call. You don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here.
Love it. All right. So final thoughts, and I guess the question to both you guys as well as everyone that's listening down in the comments: do you think that your color identity affects how you play?
It makes me actually no seriously, like I'm not even joking this time. when I'm playing against blue players, I tend to focus on them more because I hate blue.
I feel that. Is it possible, I guess, that if you started playing blue more, you would hate them less?
Stop trying to convert me to your
We
science.
never
It's
actually,
gonna happen.
We actually never talked about what colors we hated.
Well, it is last call, so let's
yeah,
say
let's-
the last little bits. So RJ hates blue just because I guess he hates his stuff being countered and just the control portion of it. Because RJ's playstyle is kind of like the chaotic. I'm just going to do stuff because it's fun.
Do stuff.
And blue's more or less like a hey, I see
Don't
your
do your stuff.
Yeah, I see your fun and I raise you a counterspell and then a disallow and then a negates and then Dobbin's veto.
You don't see the single tear rolling down my sleeve.
Just because I know all these off the top of my head. I guess the color I hate the most would probably be red.
Of course.
And that's only because I want to be a red player so badly, but I just a lot of people.
Cheap.
Well, it's not even that. A lot of people say that red players they don't have to think. They just just do stuff and it's fine. They have to think a lot actually because
People
they
say the same thing about green players.
yeah like they've got a limited amount of resource.
They also say the same thing about me.
Red players have a limited amount of resource, so they can't just throw their cards willy-nilly, despite the fact that it looks like that. And I don't know, I just like the red philosophy of just like, hey, burn things to the ground, who cares? The downside is I think too much while playing the game, so I'll overestimate just like, should I do this now? Should I wait? Should I do it later?
Well, Magic is a very strategic game, so thinking too much really isn't the realm of the blue player. Even though for some reason they're the ones that get stuck with that stereotype. Everyone needs to think on how their deck runs and what to react to, because blue certainly are the only
know
ones
what?
with instance.
So I guess, Eric, the color that you hate the most.
I dislike blue, but not because they counter things, but because of the role they play in Commander.
They're kind of the judge.
Whenever someone plays a big spell, the entire table
Look towards a blue player,
looks towards the blue player like,
hey, can you help
are
us
you
out?"
going to let this happen?
You can
And
save
I
us.
really, really do not like that because no other color has that kind of, I guess, authority.
Yeah.
That
where
kind
it's
of
like,
role.
like, hey, are you going to really let this happen? Then they're like, I guess it'll result, and everyone just kind of judges them for the next word. They're like, oh, why would you let this happen? Like, this is your fault. I feel like that does happen too, because
Oh yeah.
someone else can drop, let's say, like, the mono green player drops the, Critter Hoof Behemoth or whatever, and then everyone looks at the blue player like, hey, are you going to let this resolve? And the blue player's like, well, I've got propaganda, so I don't really care. They're not attacking me. So they're like, sure, it resolves. Then once it resolves, everyone then attacks the blue player like, you could have saved us, but you chose not to. Like, I do feel that how
Yeah.
blue gets to kind of the short end of the stick of that sense, whereas like it's your job to protect us. That also kind of works, I guess, with the black player too, where it's like if you need something killed,
Yeah.
like, hey, you need to kill that thing, and then they're like, well, I don't have a removal for that. Why don't you have a removal? You're running mono black. You got this.
Yeah.
Same thing with board wipes. White has that stick where anything needs to be destroyed. Well, what do you got? I use all my board wipes. What do you mean you use all your board? You've got like 20.
But all these pale in comparison to the blue player's role. And that's why I think that
Because like every single
the
thing.
counter portion, counter magic, should have the color pie broken. I feel that every color should have access to counter magic, but in their own unique way.
I mean,
like I know there's a really, really old black counter spell that you lose life when you play it.
One, there's the black one.
Yeah,
there's,
all the actual counter spells that are in different colors are currently on screen right now. Because I actually have seen them in passing. Yes, back in the day, when Magic first started, or whatever.
Alpha, beta.
Yeah, our Lord and Creator couldn't really figure out what each color wanted to fully do, and he wanted to have some similarities in all of them. So each color does have a legitimate counter spell that's they can utilize in their colors, and I think they're actually pretty cheap because no one really they're so situational that it kind of gets weird.
Like Manatithe and that one other one in white. I actually play in my feather deck, but I can't for the life of me remember the name.
Yeah, it's a counter spell in whites that most people are just like, wait, you just what? Like, it definitely gets that interaction where you're
I
just.
can't wait to play Seed Time and take an extra turn in green.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Seed Time is the card that RJ just got. Speaking of cards that aren't meant to be doing things in color, a lot of the time extra turn spells are in blue because they're the ones that either need it or they can utilize it a lot better. Seed Time is something that he just got. 1 in the green. If a target player, you can only cast it on your turn, even though it's an instant, which makes sense.
It's not an instant. It's a sorcery. It's not an instant. It's a sorcery. It's not an instant. It's a sorcery.
It's an instant.
Nope. It's a sorcery.
I'm 90% sure it's an instant.
It's a sorcery. I bought the card. It is a sorcery. It stipulates that because you can only. It stipulates that so you can't do it on someone else's turn.
Yeah, but then it says you can only
force
cast
it at an instant.
Well, no, but you can say it only. It says only cast it on your turn.
Yeah, you can only. But if you have a Vidalcanori, you still can't cast it during an opponent's turn.
Yeah.
The point is the fact that it actually says that if someone casts a blue spell, you then play this, and then you can take an extra turn after this one, which is kind of a weird way of doing things.
It's also 2 mana. It's Time Walk, but green.
Yeah, and not $1 million freaking dollars. Time Walk's on screen right now.
Or banned and everything.
I don't think is Time Walk banned?
It's in Commander. Oh yeah, Time Walk is banned in Commander.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
all
also,
the Power 9 are banned.
It's also like $5,000.
Probably.
Like actually, it's
I remember
$5,000.
back when Black Lotus was only like $1,000.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
As far as our color identity affecting how we play, I definitely think it does. Because when I'm playing outside of green or black, I'm hyper aware of the ramp options of each color. Like in my Feather deck, I'm playing some Simulacrum, Burnished Heart, the Mana Rocks, the Talismans, the Signets, the Locket, Myriad Landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are the options that
Boros has.
Which
really aren't that much.
I
mean, Smothering Tariff is a humongous jump in the right direction because you get...
So is Lantax.
Yeah, so is Lantax. Well, Lantax has been around forever.
But I feel it's risen in popularity. I think the Battle Bond reprint
really
brought it into the
Some people,
collective consciousness of Commander players.
And like I said, like
the Signets.
Yeah, the Signet. Well, the Signets... I want to say they've
Signets
always
vary.
been...
They've always been kind of varied.
Yeah,
My question is, are they eventually going to ever make a Signet where it's like... Because they have like, Dimir Signet and Azorius Signet. Are they ever going to make like the 3-colored Signets, do you think?
That would be weird.
But it will be interesting.
You'd think they would be putting...
We'd have to return to Tarkir or something where that would be appropriate.
I mean... It's not that hard to think about.
The rumors were going to Theros.
There's a lot of Theros.
We're going to one we've never been to, then Theros, and
Tarkir. Because they have that Abzan looking guy who looks Abzan and he is in Abzan colors. The M20 set. They reprinted Heart Piercer Bow and Dragon of a Fire Valve and the one that fetches the 2 of those.
There's also a lot of new fetch stuff inside of this newer set. We're going to be talking about, I guess, spoiler alert. Next week, we're actually going to be talking about our list of just top M20 cards that we've actually seen that have gotten spoiled so far. We've already talked about the Hydra a little bit, so I guess that's not going to be on the list, unfortunately, but just a bunch of other stuff's going to be on that list.
I'll make it on the list. Don't you worry, my little goblins.
So now let's actually jump over to the cleanup step where I say thank you so much for actually listening and watching this episode of the actual podcast. Thank you, Eric, for joining us on this glorious...
Happy to be here.
glorious of times.
We'll hopefully have you again soon.
You're definitely welcome back anytime just because this was fantastic.
You read stuff better than any of us did.
I liked having you actually here, and we're going to go ahead and just put a pin up there on the actual screen that's making you an honorary bartender for the pub. So we can call you in whenever we need you to.
You come in drunk every Tuesday night, and we decided, why not? Jump back here. Make your own
just jump back here and make some drinks. Why not? But I also want to shout out to you guys listening to please like, share this actual video. It helps us out
my little goblin.
So much. Definitely subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Tell your brothers, tell your sisters. You said this really cool thing last time. You tell your cat, tell your dog.
Tell your cat, tell your dog, tell your aunt, tell your mother, tell your cousin. I don't remember what I said.
Shill for us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit.
Hi, Dave. That's my boss's name. Please watch this. You never will, but a man can dream.
So I'm just saying thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hasta la vista.